the NedFoss Thor Throwing Axe. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Wes, the Suburban Viking. Of course, we got Dave here with us, and we are Midgard Axe. How's everybody doing? How you guys been? Been holding on to this one for a little bit, not on purpose, just had a lot of axes to review and get through. So we finally made it to the NedFoss Thor Throwing Axe. Now, I will tell you guys that on their website, this thing is labeled as the Champion Throwing Axe, but on their Amazon store, it's labeled as the Thor. So I like the name Thor better for a throwing axe, so I'm going with that, okay? I know Thor had a hammer, but it is what it is. I'm going with Thor on these throwing axes here. That's what we're calling them, okay? Let's take a look at the specs they have on their website for this axe, and then I will give you guys real specs. I'll give you my first impressions, and then we're going to throw it. So let's get into it. So heading over to NedFossKnife.com, you can go to the NedFoss Champion Throwing Axes. Underneath the Throwing Axe tab, you will see these axes here. They come in as a set for $69.99. Also, Rory over at NedFoss. Hey man, next time you send me an axe, send me the set. You only sent me one. I would have liked to have had both of them. I would have loved to have thrown a set. Next time, send me a set, man, please. I'd appreciate that. If you scroll down, it gets into the upgraded version, which is talking about how they put a roll pin through the handle into the head to keep it on better. It goes into the unique double-sided design with a 1065 high carbon steel. It also talks about the handle, which is a beech wood handle. And they also talk about their lifetime warranty. Now, if you scroll back up and click on the picture, it'll give you specs here, and it'll show you the bit length, the head length, their overall length, so on and so forth. And then kind of scrolling down more, guys, you get some pictures of the axe, which looks pretty cool. I do like the design of it. I think it's a great looking design. It's got beards cut in it, a double bit axe with a straight handle for axe throwing. It's just really cool looking, and I do, like I said, I do like the design. It looks like it's going to be a pretty decent thrower. Let's get into actual specs of this axe. Okay, the length, it's coming in at 15 3/4. The head length from one bit to the other bit is 7.5 inches long, and the bit on this side is measuring in at 3.5 inches, and the bit on this side is measuring in at 3.5 inches. I weighed it in on my scale, and it was coming in at 1 pound and 11.8 ounces. First impressions on this axe. What do I think about it? Holding it in my hand, looking at it, what is my overall first impressions on it? Okay, so I'll tell you this. I really like the wood grain on beech wood. I think it's really nice looking. I have some pew-pews that have some beech wood hand guards on them, and guys, when you change the color, depending on what color you use, it'll pop different ways. It just looks really nice, so I really do like the wood grain. As far as the wood handle goes, I do like a straight handle, and I do like the fact that they use the straight handle for a double bit axe. I do enjoy the feel of it on this axe here. I really do like the head design. I think the head design is really cool looking. It has a small little swoop that goes up at the toes here. I do like the beard design and how it comes into a lug in the center of the handle. I do like that the bit is at least 3 inches or bigger, so that's good on this. And it has some cool different tribal designs. Looks like it's been kind of like etched in there, so it looks really good. They're pretty deep etchings too, so they're not going to rub off. I just think it's a really good design. It looks like it's going to fly very well. Putting it in my hand and kind of giving it a few fake tosses here, I will tell you, you can definitely feel all the weight is in the top of the axe here. And it does feel really good in the hand. I feel like it's probably going to fly very well. Giving you guys kind of a, like I like to do, giving you a little bit of a weight test. Now, I know this isn't the most like scientific accurate way, but it actually works for me. Putting it in my hand and kind of doing this, guys, look at that. It's not flipping this way. You would think with this heavy head that it would flip over, but you got to remember that it's a double bit axe, so you got just as much weight on the back as you do on the front. So it's going to be more of an evenly distributed axe when you're releasing it out of your hand and throwing. But that doesn't mean it's going to be bad at all. I do prefer bit heavy axes, but if they're evenly distributed, I think they fly just as well too. You just got to work with them a little bit more because you don't have a ton of weight flipping the axe over. But that's okay, because I guarantee you that when I start throwing this, it's probably going to fly really well. I just got a good feeling. Getting into two things that I noticed that I'm not a big fan of. Number one, the handle is a really thin. I think it's a little too thin, okay? I think they could have made this a little bit thicker. And number two, I'm not a big fan of putting roll pins through axe heads and axe handles. I've worked with axes like this before, and every time they break, they always break up in here, and the stress fracture or the break always tends to start where that hole has been put in the handle. I'm not even a big fan of manufacturers putting holes in handles down here so you can hang them up. Every time I've ever worked with a handle and it's broke or fractured down here from a knob strike, it seems to be that it always starts or originates from where that hole has been drilled into the handle. So we'll watch it. It may hold up, but I'm just giving you what I don't care for and what we have to look for when we're throwing it. I do want to cover also that even though this thing does have a nice mirror polish on it, the bit itself is decently sharp, but I'm going to need to sharpen it a little bit more to get it to stick when I'm throwing it. I will probably shave some of these cheeks down. They are a tad bit on the thicker side. So let me shave these cheeks down, let me sharpen it, and then we'll start throwing it. Let's get going. And we're done. The NedFoss Thor Throwing Axe. What a great little axe, guys. It was just a great little axe. It flew very well for single, double, and triple rotations. I had a really good time throwing it. And I will say that the weight felt really good, even though it was more evenly distributed. I really didn't feel it when I was throwing it. There is a little bit of a difference. You can feel it when you go from a bit heavy axe to an evenly distributed weighted axe. I wasn't feeling it. It felt really good out of the hand. It released out of the hand very well. It rotated very well in the air. I just had a really good time throwing this axe. The bit held up very well. It's still very sharp, so the edge retention on this thing is really good. I had no movement on the head. As you can see, it stayed hafted on there. You know, that roll pin is keeping it from coming down because it is a friction fit style fitting, but the roll pin keeps it in place. Didn't have any issues with it, guys. I really didn't. It just flew very well. I think it rotated really good in the air. However, I will say the only thing that I don't care for with this axe is the handle. I think the handle is just a little bit too thin, and I was getting a little bit of wobble in the air, which I attribute to the handle being too thin. But when I really paid attention to my grip for double rotations and was really trying to get a nice release, the wobble stopped and it had a true fly in the air. So if I had to say anything about this axe, I'd say if you got smaller hands, then this handle might be great for you, but just realize that the handle is a tad bit thin. You might be wondering why there is electrical tape on the handle. One of my subscribers, one of you stopped by to throw axes with me right in the middle of throwing. And I'll have to say his name. Sorry, dude. I'm going to call you out. Hafton stopped by. He drove by, saw me throwing, stopped. He threw it too. He actually really enjoyed it too. So I got one of you guys to give me your approval on this. He had a great time with it. However, he did throw it a little high, and right on the edge of my target on the top, he hit the handle right there, and it just snapped, okay? Snapped a huge chunk out of the handle. It didn't snap in half, but almost. So this isn't on NedFoss, this is on Hafton, but you know what, it's not a big deal, because I told him from the get-go, and I told him after he broke it, that I was just going to buy another handle anyway, a thicker handle, and haft this head on another handle. So that's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to put this head on a thicker handle, and we're going to see how it flies and how it feels with a little bit thicker of a handle. I think it's going to fly even better. So I'm going to make another video of hafting another handle on this head and throwing it. All in all, guys, not bad. Tempering held, the axe head held, the handle held. I mean, he did throw it pretty hard. So all in all, I mean, it was holding my throws. I mean, I had a bunch of throws with it before he threw it, and it, you know, the handle cracked. So, but all in all, not a bad little axe, guys. It was fun. He had a good time with it, and I had a good time with it. So consider it if you guys are looking for something a little smaller. I do like these double bit axes from NedFoss. I think they're a lot of fun to throw, and as you saw, guys, I was kind of utilizing that back bit and doing a rotation and a half on some of my throws, kind of, you know, using that back bit. So I try to use the double bit like it's supposed to be used when you're throwing it. Use both those bits if you can. So, but thanks for your support. Come back in a future video. I'm going to put a new handle on this thing and haft it and throw it again. So thanks for the support. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys found something good out of this video, and you got something, at least some information out of this. But I think you would be good with this. If anything happened to the handle, I think the heads from NedFoss are pretty decent. They hold their edge pretty well, and I think you won't go wrong with their heads at least. So you could always just get a new handle, which is what I'm going to do. So great little axe, NedFoss. I appreciate the opportunity to review another one of your axes. So thanks, appreciate it. Can't wait to get another one. But until next time, guys, see ya.